Okay, I will start.
Namaskaram to all of you
Namaskaram.
attending.
Namaskaram.
Yes, question or
You have introduced yourself.
Some introduction is there, no? Yeah.
I will
Yes, sir.
introduce myself. I am Natyacharya VP Dhananjayan
I'm Shanta Dhananjayan, his wife.
and lately known as Bodak phone couple.
Start.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Namaskaram. I'm very proud to invite and to be with Pudhiya Veetil Dhananjayan and Shanta Dhananjayan are also known as Dhananjayans, are the dancing couple of India, or the Natya couple of India, as you said.
Bharat, not India.
But Bharat, okay, sir. It will take some time for us to sync all that in us.
Coming.
VP Dhananjayan was born into a Malayali family of Putuval family on 17th April 1939 in Pioneer, Kannur district, Kerala.
Yes, 39. Yes.
He joined Kalakshetra on 5th October 1953 and was a leading male dancer under Rukmani Devi, founder of Kalakshetra from 1955 to 1967. He graduated from Kalakshetra with a postgraduate diploma in dance, Bharatanatyam and Kathakali with distinction, and also holds a BA Economics and Politics. Shanta Dhananjayan was born on 12th August 1943 into a Malayali Nair family in Malaysia and traces her ancestry back to Kerala, from where she migrated to Malaysia. She joined Kalakshetra in June 1952, a year before Dhananjayan, where she later graduated with postgraduate diploma with distinction in Bharatanatyam and also learned Kathakali and Carnatic music. She was a leading female dancer at Kalakshetra from 1955 to 1968.
70.
They married in 1966 at the Guruvayur temple in Kerala. Guruvayur temple.
Yeah, Krishna temple.
Yeah. Okay. They started their own dance school, Bharat Kalanjali, in 1968 in Adyar, Chennai. It began with a handful of students and is today a premier academy of dance and music with several hundreds of students. Some of the major awards and accolades conferred are Padma Bhushan, Sangeet Natak Academy Award, Kalaimani Award, and many more prestigious awards have been conferred to them. Natyacharya VP Dhananjay. Sir and ma'am, we welcome you in this workshop session of SPIC MACAY Anubhav series. Now we'll be starting with a question answers round. I request Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I request Vedanathan, sir, to start with the questions.
Before that, I must say VP Dhananjayan is a prolific writer and writes not only on dance but also on social and political issues. His publications include Beyond Performing Art and Culture.
And also a dancer on dance.
We didn't have that list. I read, so I would definitely take a list from you, sir. First question, sir. You are both students of Kalakshetra, the dance institution founded by Srimati Rukmani Devi Arundel. What made you select Bharatanatyam and why did you select Kalakshetra? What was your Kalakshetra experience? What sort of Guru Siksha Parampara tradition can you share with your journey with us, sir?
It's a long journey, about 2 decades of journey. You want to start yours?
You can say yours.
I can. Say, before answering the questions, I would always like to begin my delineation with the 2 important issues. One is, I always say our country is Bharat, we are all Bharatiya and we practice Bharatanatyam. Natyam. I always ask people to eschew the word dance, which has no specification. The Natya has a specific connotation. So please try And when we use Natya, please don't get confused. It is Bharatanatyam. We are practicing Bharatanatyam, which includes all the Natyas of Bharata Desham. Okay, that is one issue. The second issue is, of course, to say, now I think I covered both. So, okay. I was not at all exposed to any kind of classical Natyam while I was in the Payanur vicinity, a very remote Grama village in Kerala. And I used to attend Kathakali shows, very secretively. We were not able to attend, our parents wouldn't let us go alone and all that. But I used to sneak away from my home, especially with my grandmother. I was under my grandmother, and used to see Teyyam and Kathakali, and that was the only exposure I had. I never heard of Bharatanatyam at that time. So the Providence have it. K. Balagopal, who is no more now, he was selected to go to Kalakshetra. Then my father asked Chandupanikar, Guru Chandupanikar Asan, a very, very great Kathakali artist, why not take one of my 4 boys? So he came home and selected me. I don't know why he selected me at that time. Probably I'm in the middle, 13 plus, for the right age to start anything. So I was excited because I was also wanting to go out of that big family. And it's a very, very poor family, I should say. A elementary school teacher with 8 children at home, was struggling. But anyway, that is on past history. Then I had the luck of coming to Kalakshetra. Only after coming to Kalakshetra, I happened to know what is Bharatanatyam and what is the stories entirely different. She can say that.
Okay. Even as a little, those days, it was customary to send their kids to India, to Kerala, especially to learn, go to school and learn your own mother tongue and things. So I was also sent along to Pangad district, and I was given some training because I showed a great interest in music and dance. So they thought, I should get some exposure. While I was just going for little classes, it was nothing very serious. Someone suggested that since I showed a lot of interest and involvement, said, why don't you send? I was 8 years old. Then someone said, that's foolish. She's only 8 years old, and how can you send her all the way to Shantiniketan? Then later on, someone suggested, one of my father's friends suggested, no, there is another institution called Kalakshetra in Chennai, in Madras those days, of course. Why don't you send her there? And
actually, Kalamandalam was also there, but I don't know why.
I don't know. Kalamandalam was not suggested at that time. So that's how I landed in Kalakshetra, and I was so lucky because I was just 8 plus 9. And as a kid, I just learned to live my life there. This is my life. So there you are.
I would like to ask, how is Kalakshetra style different from other styles? Like, why did it become so popular?
See, Kalakshetra was established in 1936. After Rukmini Devi's Arangetram in 1930, she was under the strict disciplinarian Guru Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai of Pandanallur. There are only 2 kinds of art, good and bad. So she thought there is some necessity to streamline the practice of those days of Sadiratam or Devadasiyatam and all that. So she was who was inspiration to Rukmini Devi to take up the classical Natyam of Tamil Nadu at that time. And she went and searched for good masters and finally found Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai. But still, she was not satisfied. She wants to correct certain things, movement, and she approached a lot of scholars, Sanskritam scholars, to find out about the authenticity, and that's how they discovered the Natya Shastra at that period. Because it was not spoken of at that period about Natya Shastra or Abhinaya Darpana or Bharatanatya or Sangeeta. That period, it was very vague at that time. So the scholars came up with suggestions about Natya Shastra, and it is the Natya Karanas, Nritya Karanas, a lot of people like that. Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai suggested the first person to streamline the line. So he tried to train Rukmini Devi, and then only Rukmini Devi realized there is a lot of improvement has to be done in those days in the Dasiyatam or the Sadir style. She wanted to make it very precise, and the Adavu systems at that time, it was not very systematically practiced. So she systematized all the system, the practical Adavu system, the Karana system. Nritta Pada Samayukto Nrittasya Karanam Bhavet. It's a combination of those days. The Karanas were static poses. Process that was found a movement. Yes, Crystal, a movement still. So that way she did the based on the 10 mandalas, mandalam, asthanaka mandala, all these 10 mandalas, she created the Adavu, systematized the Adavu and practiced it. For that, Katamanar Kovil, Muthukumara Swami helped, and that is how a style was established at that time, which later on started the people calling it Kalakshetra style. But Rukmini Devi always said it is not a help, it is Rukmini Devi's improvement. She started accusing her of using ballet steps because she learnt ballet and she was influenced by ballerina Anna Pavlova. They started accusing her of changing the Sadir style to ballet style. That was the accusation. But that died because this stood the test of time, and people started appreciating, keeping the body very strict, disciplined way, and very what you call rekha. There is a technical word in the shastras called rekha, the lining, body lining. You can't keep like this. Those days, I can, if you see some of those dance at those time, the cinema dance and all that, you can see people who are holding Natyaramba like this, and the elbows down, and all the mudras were not properly held by some of the, even the greatest Devadasis, they were not holding it. And Rukmini Devi, again, she made it compulsory for everybody to practice mudras very precisely as the hastas mentioned in the Natya Shastra, as well as Abhinaya Darpana, which is the best book for Bharatanatyam mudras to follow. That is Pataka, Tripataka, Ardha Pataka, all hold it very properly, not like this, not Alapadma is holding like that, and all that. She streamlined it and make it very precise. So even today, that style, and it has now become very teaching method of transition became very prevalent, and everybody has accepted this. Many people may say it is not, but today when you see our Bharatanatyam dancers, it is almost the same, except each individual adds some new perception to their own individuality. Swayam vitarkya kartavyam Natya Shastram Budhe. People have the freedom. Natya Shastra has given the freedom to evolve yourself. Every individual, Akritya, Cheshtaya, Chinnai, Jatya, Vijnaya, Vastutaha, Swayam Vitarkya Kartavyam. Each period, the Acharyas have added new dimension to the practice prevalent in those days. So, this period of 1930, 40, 50s, Kalakshetra has streamlined, Kalakshetra has established a pure style, and with a lot of innovative steps and a lot of new gestures and everything. And that is now stuck on the international scene, and everybody wants to practice that. And today, as I said, you see the best dancers like Dakshina and all that, they have the same. Now there is a good standard of Bharatanatyam prevalent in today's period. That is how the style was established. We don't need to call it a particular style, but the human mind, they always say Pandanallur style. We are supposed to be Pandanallur style, Kanchivaram style, or Ellapapula and Valur style and all that. This all has gone now. Even the Valur style supposed to be during the 40s and all that, very prevalent. That style, now all those people who are practicing, supposed to be practicing Valur style, has changed to the better style of Bharatanatyam. I can see that.
Put in their speciality.
Every style has its own beauty and some speciality is there. That is that has to be maintained. So that is how everything has.
It's like the gharana that we talk about in Hindustan, speciality, and it adds to the beauty of
each Natyacharya has contributed something to it.
Okay, in-depth details actually. How difficult, the next question, sir, how difficult or easy for you to have carved a niche in Bharatanatyam world as a couple in 60s? What moments and struggles you both faced in your journey? You both became the most popular Bharatanatyam dancing couple.
Well, without struggle, there is no life. I won't call it a style, but it's an evolutionary process of going up, stepping up on the staircase. Well, I am coming from a very, very poor, economically backward class from Kerala. I had to no apprehensions whatsoever to tell that. My father had nothing. He left nothing for us. But when I came to Kalakshetra at the age of 14, and I was under Rukmini Devi's scholarship. Kalakshetra gave me a full scholarship, which I am blessed. So, with that help from Kalakshetra and Rukmini Devi and struggle, I won't call it a struggle, but we had a very good family atmosphere in Kalakshetra. Everybody liked each other. There was no disparity between.
Literally growing up.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a large family. Everybody's there. We'll have whatever happens within a family. This is a larger kind of a family. We grew up that way. So
learning in a Gurukulam is difficult. If you think it is difficult, it is good. Like Krishna and Sudama, they were all in Gurukulam. Even Krishna was in Gurukulam. When Sudama, a poor Brahmin, was also in the same Gurukulam. Like that, we were all the feast-paying students like Santa and non-paying students like me. Also, we all treated well, taught everything equal in Kalakshetra. So, in Gurukulam, we had certain disciplines especially for male students like me and Balagopal and male students. Most of the male students came from very economically poor background, because only male students will be led those days for such kind of profession, because others at that time everybody wanted to be a doctor, engineer. They sell their ancestral property and go teach them, go make them go for a doctor or something else. Coming from a poor family, boy in Kalakshetra, and we had to take care of the needs of the older teachers. We have teachers above 60 at that time, Kalakshetra. They were all right Rishis like teachers. Like for instance, Guru Asa Chandupanikar was almost 75, 80 at that time when he started teaching us Kathakali. It is such a dynamic person, such an inspiration for all of us to see, watch him at that. But we as children, we had to take care of their needs like a real Gurukulam. We used to get up at 4 o'clock and rush to his house and bring hot water for his bathing and do also all nights for him, wash his clothes, all that we did really. Sometimes it may be a story for many of the children. It may be story, but it is real. We have experience. 4 o'clock we do that, and he goes into Japam at 5 o'clock, and by then we go to the hostel and bring coffee to him. All that we did, and every time the afternoon for lunch, we had to bring the lunch for him and serve him, and only after that we go to the hostel. By then all the children would have finished hostel food, and then we'll be the last batch to eat. And all these things we have. And we have the greatest of teachers like Karakudi Veena Sambasivayar in Kalakshetra, who was also nearing 80. Mysore Vastevacharya, the greatest composer, the music, and Budalur Krishnamurti Shastrigal of Gotuvadhyam. All those people, Papanas and Shivan, they were all there when we are listening to their music. And also, incidentally, we used to help. Me and Balagopal used to take Mysore Vastevacharya for walking in the evening. In spite of looking after our Asan Chandupanikar, we had to take care of those people also. So it was like they were all like grandfathers. And Mysore Vastevacharya used to tell us stories because we were doing his Sita Swayamvaram Ramayanam being produced in 1955 by Rukmini Devi, and he did the whole thing while walking. He was 93 at that time. So you can imagine that kind. So from 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the night, we have been continuously working in Gurukulam. In between, we have this regularized scheduled classes in Kalakshetra classrooms. In Kalakshetra, we had the advantage of having general education. We had the matriculation. Some people were doing matriculation. Some people are not. They just had English or mathematics, general education. But I opted to take matriculation very fastidiously. I wanted to pass matriculation, but none of my colleagues took for matriculation. I passed matriculation in a high second class, and then I opted to do my intermediate education with Madhya Pradesh. Those days, Madhya Pradesh. Intermediate, and then later on I did my graduation in politics and economics with Delhi University. All correspondence. Apart from doing the entrance, the Kalakshetra class, these I had to learn these. They were listening to great stalwarts like C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajgopalachari, Kamaraj, and all those people who used to come to Kalakshetra. They were talking. All that has gone into the brain, making us a true Bharatiya. That's why I always insist that we should see this name, Bharatam and Bharatiya. And happily, I want to tell you today, I saw a report in the Hindu that soon our country will be called Bharata. And no more India, the liberal India will be eschewed. I am very happy because I have been a promulgator or a fastidious mission. My mission was to change the name Bharat, India back to Bharat. So I am happy today, this morning. Anyway, that is, I want to incidentally share this news to SPIC MACAY children who are attending. And every time, whenever I go abroad or anywhere, I start my lecture saying, my country is Bharat, I am Bharatiya, and we do Bharatanatyam. This is my slogan.
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for sharing this slogan with us. and I'm sure now we all will be indulged with the slogan, and this is something which I'm really happy to seek from you. And you have shared such an inspirational journey of yours. I feel that it's not a
What is the struggle we have? When you want to learn something, you have to struggle. That is not struggle.
want to ask that you both have created various dance productions and choreographies. So how do you work as
Natya
Natya production, and how do you work as a team?
I talked a lot. You talk now.
Ma'am.
How do we work office? I don't know. Sometimes he'll come up with, let's do this, or I'll say, no, let's do this. But Sri Dhananjay, who really is the architect.
And you are the engineer.
I'm the engineer always, and along with him, trying to put things together. But mostly, all these big productions we do together, especially when it comes to costume, makeup, and hairstyle, hairdo according to period. I take more interest, but I do consult my husband, and we have discussions and
See,
experience.
we have grown together in Kalakshetra. So we have the same kind of aesthetic values. We know each other, so we know where we stand. We understand each other's strength and weakness. So that is a big advantage that as being a couple, and to understanding each other perfectly, then there is no conflict. And give and take attitude. That in everybody's life, that should be there. Give and take. And in our case, Shanta has been giving a lot. Giving in the initial stage, and later only after gained some experience, then she started taking over, and I started giving in. So to all the children must understand this: when you are married, first give in, either of them give in first, and then understand each other, and then you can lead a very happy, balanced, lovable family life. Unnata Makuga Kudumba Jivitam Unnata Kalayan Adu Loge. One Kavi has said, I think it is Kavi poet Valatol Narayana Menon who started Kalamandalam, said, Unnata Makuga Kudumba Jivitam Unnata Kalayan Adu Loge in Malayalam. Make your family life a greatest art form. Family caring is the greatest art form. So, in the family, mother, the woman is the Lord. She has to be has the upper hand to lead a good family life, and the spouse has to give in to the leader of the household. So this is just a moral for the children who are listening to our lectures. We are all growing children. So, Unnadamapku Kudumba Jivitam. Family lives have to be very balanced and very happy, and equilibrium should be maintained between the family, father, mother, and all the others, the children also.
How wonderful, sir. How nicely you put. Honey is flowing into my ears for the words that you have. I think that's a wonderful experience. And a lot of us has to assimilate and should follow them in our life, sir. The next question is, what is started to perform? What are the challenges now? Is there a difference now? How do you tackle them? What will be your message for your young male dance students? Because there's a mindset, only females used to dance, not the males. So
Yeah, this is only for
So when in Kalakshetra, everything was fine, because male, female, they were equally treated, and we had a lot of opportunities to perform inside Kalakshetra. And those days when we were there, we were confined to Kalakshetra 4 walls, and occasionally we used to go out, and people used to come to Kalakshetra to see our program. Anyway, to break away from Kalakshetra and establish. It was a Herculean task, especially for me, for a man dancer. It was very, very difficult those days. While I was in Kalakshetra and I had a unfortunate situation that I had to leave Kalakshetra, I was approaching some people to have some exposure, some help. Whenever I wrote to people like in the Sangeet Academy or any other institutions in the country, I always had negative feeling, negative answers, saying that, oh, male dancers have no life outside. Please better remain in Kalakshetra. That is the first. But that I took it as a challenge. It was a challenge for me. Then how can they say male? Because we have a male paramparya from starting with Nataraja. Then how it was my very change this, established a standard, established a form for male dancers. At that time, male dancers were not accepted. When I approached some of the great societies like Music Academy, the Sabhas and all that, they said, oh, who will watch a male dancer? That is the answer I gave. But I told them, the Bharatanatyam item, overnight or within a month time, I composed a complete Bharatanatyam repertoire. Yes, complete repertoire. And as a male dance, only Shanta didn't do that, but I did a solo male Bharatanatyam dancer, Bharatanatyam repertoire, completely no female-oriented items. It was all male-oriented items. Because at that time the taboo was most of the people, even male dancers who were dancing, they were encouraged to take up female-oriented thing, and so they got attached to a sort of effeminate norms, effeminate character. They were doing all that is females doing. So people thought there's nothing wrong in exposing it, but the male can expose, enact female roles like in Kathakali and all that. But when I did a solo performance with male-oriented program items, people accepted this was a revelation for the connoisseurs. There was a big crowd giving ovation to me, and that clicked very well with me. And then later on, when we started choreographing or composing repertoire suitable for male and female, it's like Nrityopaharam, Nrittangaharam, all that clicked very well, because people could see a good male dancer and a female, Lasya and Tandava in a balanced form. That connoisseurs appreciated and then started getting chances. And it was at that time in the late 60s and 70s, people wanted some new pastures to look at, not the same the Alaripo Tilana oriented female items. They wanted some novelty for the new generation. We catered to the new generation. Appreciation of new generation started with those programs which we presented and people appreciated. And since we both shared some of the items and choreographed it in such a way that I do the male portion and she does the female portion, that clicked. So we get a lot of audience and our programs have been very successful. And that is how we established, and that is how a male-oriented Bharatanatyam started in the arena. So the male students who are they took me as an example of making Bharatanatyam successful for male dancers. They took it following me, and it has become now. There are a lot of excellent male men dancers in the Bharatanatyam arena, and thanks to Kalakshetra, who trained us not with effeminate quality, but stayed very strictly man oriented, danced like a man oriented, because, and also Kathakali background given us that manliness in performances. In sometimes when I started Bharatanatyam programs, many people, some people criticized that I am mixing Kathakali into it. Yes, there was not a mixer, but a lot of male element has been incorporated into the technique of Kalakshetra Bharatanatyam. That's how we have made it very successful. And today we can very proudly say that we are one of the best, the proud Bharatanatyam couple. And of course,
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. I mean, I really wish that all the male dancers who is male their nritya as their career in future in their life. Uh, I want to ask that you run a very popular and prestigious Nritya Vidyalaya called Bharat Kalanjali in Chennai. And you had the Golden Jubilee celebration of Bharat Kalanjali last year in 2019. Your students are across the globe conducting
2018.
2018.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, ma'am. It's 2018, and it's like your students are all around the globe and conducting classes. Even your son, Shri Satyajit ji, is also continuing with the tradition. So, what is the success of its popularity? And have you started online classes due to in this pandemic situation of COVID-19? How do you deal with it?
The online classes are taken by Shanta. So,
Yeah, this is something new to me. I was so much against it, when people talked about it. This was before COVID thing.
so going to that, Bharatakalanjali's success at that time, in 1960s, there was not many schools around Chennai. Only few were there. And especially with Kalakshetra confined to the four walls of the Kalakshetra campus, people were looking for that kind of training outside. It was not there provided at that time, except in the 1958 or so, Adayar Lakshman sir came out of Kalakshetra, and he was confined to only to some schools like Kalakshetra style of training. They were looking forward to somebody to come out and teach. So it became very, very handy for them to join Bharatakalanjali, the children in Bharatakalanjali. So when we started in 1968, we had a lot of students from people who liked Kalakshetra style and people conscious of Kalakshetra style joined them to our school, and we very fastidiously followed the Kalakshetra method of teaching very meticulously without compromising anything, and very slowly. At that time, of course, some of the parents were feeling that we are very slow. But as it is, we said we are slow. Kalakshetra style is Kalakshetra, according to her, whenever we were there, we started Alaripu in the third year only. So for 2-3 years, fastidiously, we practiced only Adavu, making perfect. The body must be first perfect before enter into the mind. So that is the philosophy. So we did it like that, but many people liked it, many people disliked it, so they started going outside. By then, slowly there were some private classes being taken, some in the other vicinities. They joined them, and some of them there were crash classes those days. Arangetam and all that. We were there. We were surprised actually. Those days people criticized, but still there was comprehensive style and Arangetam business. It was like a business. People contracted with the parents for big sum, and within few months they used to have Arangetam and all that. But with the same idea, people used to approach us. Though we didn't needed a lot of money at that time, we were very Nothing was there.
Struggling.
Struggling, there we can use struggling. So, but we didn't compromise for that such kind of thing. Even at that time, in the 70s, I had a big offer of um, almost 5 lakhs of rupees at the time to produce a drama on the NGR's life, which I rejected at that time. At that time, 70s. Some Coimbatore businessmen wanted that. But so we didn't compromise. So all our productions also, we adhere to the norms and the aesthetics of Kalakshetra, but we have incorporated our own creativity, and every production that we did, almost 50 productions we did, and unlike Kalakshetra, we have gone little stepped out of the borders of mythology and Puranas and all that. We have taken Christian themes and Buddhist themes and natural themes like Jungle Book and all that, and incorporated with Western classical dancers and dramatists. That's a big revelation to us, as well as it was a big leap for the other dancers to assimilate. Because we are just probably 24 in London. It was a big revelation for the Western audience to see something. They thought Bharatanatyam is the only female dancer, and there cannot be a dance drama out of it. But that was the first time they started seeing it. But of course, in Udaya Shankar, all that, they had group dances called Oriental dances. But this is completely with a classical background of Kathakali, Bharatanatyam, Odissi, Kathak. We incorporated in that production. And that, and out of that, we trained the Londoners to, out of that production, which we did a lot of time, almost 200 times, out of that artists who came out of the Jungle Book productions, some of them has become very big choreographers in London. And that was a very big revelation that in our Bharatiya Natyam can be exploited to expose our, not only our culture, expose any themes that is needed for the social.
Wonderful production called Ghanashyam, the Broken Branch, with the great Pandit Ravi Shankarji.
It's a social theme.
Yes, it's on a social theme. It is based on drug abuse. So that was one of the greatest experiences that we had working with such as Talbot, and going through the entire production with his music and his ideas, because it was his story and his completely he thought about it, and the way he involved us to do the work was one of our greatest experiences in our lifetime.
Definitely, yes.
Okay, I think we'll have to go to the next question.
So productions have been, most of the product, there is a lot of changes, and when we choreograph, we incorporated a lot of new ideas, new postures, new gestures, all that. So that has clicked with the audience. That's how our productions have been very, very successful. And I'm very proud to say most of the production that we did early has gone many, many times. These days, productions don't last one show or two shows. But those days, like Sangamitra, Ramanatakam, we had done it umpteen times, almost 500 times. Those days, and those days, I want to definitely say, we were invited to nook and corner of Tamil Nadu, as well as Kerala, Andhra, and North Indian cities in Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, and Delhi. We used to come to Delhi very often with our productions. These days, this doesn't happen. Unfortunately, people do much very, very, very creative production, but that stop with one or two shows. That is very bad. But we are very proud. Our productions have been screened, staged several times, including did 2 productions out, that even those productions successfully, Satyajit did choreography, and recently went to Europe, and that shown at least 10 to 15 times. It has been staged, which is his success, Satyajit's success. Though it is not completely Bharatanatyam.
I just want to complete. You asked me about doing online necessity. So I'm learning, and though I'm not too happy about it, because you just don't feel that one-to-one feel. Years of teaching, just like this, like a guru to Shishya. Coming to this is rather difficult, but I do understand the problem, and I'm trying to accommodate myself. So that's the way it is done. Yes. I think my husband is still struggling. He's not.
I taught online 2 padams, my own composition, lyrics, music, and choreography. I taught these 2 padams on the line, and I was not very happy, but anyway, in a way, I was able to communicate to them. My face was available to them, my expression were available to them very clearly, but to their expression I was not very clear, because it is in smaller measures. But I think they gained a lot from my very closely seeing my face expression, the expression nuances of Abhinaya. They were able to understand through.
I think we are coming close to.
I think the last question, sir. You have been a part of SPIC MACAY movement and have been performing for us all over India since last 3 decades. Can you?
That is one of the wonderful experiences that we always cherish. There is a very big article I have contributed to SPIC MACAY's 25th anniversary, and I hope, I don't know how many of them have read it. Sailing with SPIC MACAY, that is the title of the article. Please try to read that if you have a souvenir, in which we have visited. I should say SPIC MACAY has given us the opportunity to go nook and corner of our country and speak to our young generation and inculcate in them the spirit of Bharatiyatvam and Asha Samskaram, which they always liked. And this is one, again, whenever I address them as our country is Bharatam and we are Bharatiya, they all clapped because they liked it. They liked, everybody in the SPIC MACAY circuit, they liked the name Bharat to be named. That is one experience. But experience-wise, of course, it was very organized by students and voluntary organizations. Sometimes there was little unlike experiences which we understood. We were able to analyze, but at Punjab when it was burning, because nobody wanted to go there at that time. It was very difficult. At that time, when they had the All India Convention in IIT, everybody backed out of going to Punjab. And then I stood up and said, no, don't worry, I will come. They were all surprised. How can you go there? It is burning. Punjab is burning. So I took it as a challenge, and I said, Punjab is our country, part of Bharatam. So whatever if they are struggling, let us also face the same experience. So we went nook and corner of Punjab at that time, and it was burning, and we had some protections, also police protections and all that too. And that was the greatest experience. We were able to understand. Yes, we were able to understand the cultural values the Punjab holds, and they used to say, we have only agriculture, we don't know culture. But yes, they have the Bharatiya culture, and we were very, very happy. And even today, we are very happy.
Has done great service, and I'm sure it's to continue this. And thank you to
ma'am and all the young students, those who are there as a part of in this Adhyayan Abhyas, just your message to all the students.
Yes, for students, discipline is a very, very great asset. From childhood to the university level, they should adhere to certain lively discipline and don't indulge in other things. Just concentrate on your studies. Discipline, devotion towards your studies, and dedication to the cause of our progress, cultural progress. On slots, we are today standing up like this is because of clean, disciplined life. Don't indulge in indisciplined things. Even I detest, I oppose children, students participating in the strikes and upheavals in the protest in the country. They have to concentrate, disciplined, concentrate on their studies. And these children who are watching this must don't become revolutionary now only after a college education or a university education. You can take up good cause in a good way, in a disciplinary way. You don't need to burn the as Rabindranath Tagore said, it's education without character is destructive. Rabindranath Tagore has said, education without character is disastrous. Like wild, disciplined candle can illuminate the room, but indisciplined flame can destroy the surroundings.
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. This was really a wonderful answer. I have learned a lot from you. Really, really. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. Vaidyanathan, sir? Dr.
Thank you. Wonderful note. You ended with discipline. I think that is the utmost importance in life. Thank you, Natyacharya, Dhananjay sir, and Shanta Dhananjayan madam, sparing your valuable time for SPIC MACAY's Anubhav Suresh. I took your thing, what you call, the way you convey the values for the younger generation to take it from you, because we are going in the technological excellence. This type of things takes a back seat. But I think you have given such a lot of importance to simplicity and discipline in life. I think this is a great takeaway for younger generations. Your inspiring talk is going to help many of the viewers and many younger generation to take over this as an art form for learning and teaching, performing. Maybe some of them could become an art critic speaking. I think it is an intangible asset that Dr. Kiran Seth keeps telling. How to showcase the intangible asset to some material to the Anubhav series. I think we will take more from you. And wonderful thing I liked about your thing is your partnership as an engineer and architect by establishing Bharatanatyam. Kalanjali is an excellent, I should say, a contribution to society, sir. It is
Before winding up, I just wanted to add, our greatest achievement in life is conducting Gurukulam, real Gurukulam in Virginia for 25 years continuously, which has contributed a lot to the improvement of Bharatiya Sanskriti in USA.
Thank you so much, sir. And your work as being an Indian is something which is very amazing. I think it should sink into everybody. We don't want to call it India, it should be Bharat in every respect of it. Thank you, and thank you to all the viewers who have been here. And I am very thankful to Urvashi.
Thank you, sir and ma'am. Pranam.